بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. In the series of talks that we had in this holy month of Ramadan, we started with understanding the concept of life. First, we talked about the life of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we said that Allah is described as Al-Hayy, the living. There are 5 cases in the Qur'an that Allah is described as Al-Hayy. Sometimes after Tawheed, Allahu la ilaha illahu al-Hayyul Qayyum. Sometimes before Tawheed, Huwa al-Hayyu la ilaha illahu. Is such a fundamental concept. Then we talked about the fact that Allah is the giver of life and the one who can take away life. No one else can give life or take it away. And we mentioned verses of the Qur'an that emphasizes on this fact that He is the one who yuhyi wa yumeet. And then we refer to the false claim by Namrud, when Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Rabbi alladhi yuhyi wa yumeet, he said, I am also giving life and taking life away by taking a person who was innocent to be executed and someone who was supposed to be executed to be freed. He said, I decide about life. And we said this was a fallacy, because he was not giving life and he was not taking away life. Allah gives the life. And then we said Ibrahim alayhi salam, just because some people could be confused and not understand, shifted the argument to saying that Rabbi alladhi ya'ti bishams min al-mashriq fa'ti biha min al-maghrib. My Lord brings the sun from the east, you bring it from the west. فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. But even the first argument was correct, that my Lord is the one who gives the life and takes away the life. And we said actually in the case of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah proved that that Namrud couldn't take life away. When he wanted to kill Ibrahim, Allah didn't let. So if a murderer manages to kill someone, it's not because he is the one who takes away. It is because Allah permits this to happen, because we are created with free will. So Allah doesn't interfere. Otherwise, if all people want to kill someone and he doesn't want, they cannot kill him. Then we talked about Ibrahim alayhi salam being involved in the process of giving life. You remember we had this discussion about his request, Rabbi arani kayfa tuhyi al-mawta, how you revived it, not how the dead are revived, how you revived the dead. And Allah made him able to revive the dead. And we explained this point. Then we talked about different types of life. We said we have vegetative life, we have animal life, we have human life. Then we talked about 3 elements which are common: power, knowledge, and will. And then we talked about a special value that Allah attaches to human life. Nafakhtu fihi min ruhi. There is sacredness in life, but especially when it comes to human life, Allah says that if you kill one person without mischief or without being a murderer, it's like killing all people. And saving one life is like saving all lives. And we talked about the punishment for the murderers and how they would be put in the lowest positions in hell. And then we said we have soul and body. Then we started talking about soul and body and their interactions and how much our soul may rely on body for the functions that it has. And then we said each has its own nutrition of body, nutrition of the soul. Each has its own ways of understanding. We have ears and eyes of the body and of the soul. Sometimes someone has no problem in his sight, but the eyes of the heart are blind. Sometimes someone has no problem in hearing, but cannot understand the truth. Qur'an says, Summun bukmun umyun. And then we said that on the day of judgment, when we are resurrected with the conditions in the heart, not conditions in the body. So if my heart's eye was blind and my physical eyes were okay, I will be resurrected as blind. And therefore Allah says, when they are resurrected as blind, they say, Rabb lama hashartani a'ma wa qad kuntu basira. So we talked about this, and then we talked about the concept of voluntary death. How can soul be ready from departing the body? And we said this can happen at the time of death. People who are very prepared, for them death is just changing a dress. But some people, even before they die, they are ready to leave this body. And actually they have control. They can leave the body and then return to the body. So we talked about these things. We talked about the attitude of Ahlul Bayt towards death. And then we said we have another life, which is Hayat Tayyibah. And we said that comes, according to the Qur'an, with Iman and Amal Salih. من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة. And I read for you what Allama Tabatabai said in Al-Mizan, that this is a real life which is new. It's not change of the quality of the first one. It's new. Either we have it or we don't have it. If we don't have it, we are dead with respect to it. If we have it, we are alive. We said this life brings light. We talked about it. We talked about verses in Surah Tahrim, Surah Hadid, about mu'mineen having their light on the day of judgment, going fast in front of them on the right side. But we said this light is also in dunya. يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ نُورًا تَمْشُونَ بِهِ or أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي. So this light is dunya, but on the day of judgment is very visible. Then we talked about knowledge and power that it brings based on hadith Qurb al-Nawafil, then hadith al-Mi'raj, and yesterday we talked about some hadith about love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah today, as I said, we will end this discussion with some passages from Munajat Sha'baniyyah. So as you see, alhamdulillah, we had a very wide range of topics, all related to life. I hope you go back and listen once again, because listening once, even if you have listened all of them, is not enough. You need to go back now, listen one by one, take notes, and inshallah reflect on them. Munajat Sha'baniyyah is one of the prayers and supplications that we have from Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, which is very highly regarded by our scholars. Its content is very high, and it was something that all imams used to use it when they wanted to whisper to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to supplicate. I am starting from this part. إلهي وألهمني ولها بذكرك إلى ذكرك وهمتي في روح نجاح أسمائك ومحل قدسك. My Lord, please inspire me for eagerness for your remembrance. It is very interesting that for love, ilham is used. Ilham is inspiration. Inspiration normally is for giving some kind of understanding. But love for Allah comes with ma'rifah. Therefore, we use ilham for love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no way to know Him and not love Him. When something is perfect, something is very pure, very beautiful, you just need to know. You don't need to do anything else. Our problem is lack of ma'rifah. Otherwise, if you have ma'rifah, we will fall in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, I want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I request from Allah to give me this love and eagerness for remembering Him continuously. وَهِمَّتِي فِي رَوْحِ النَّجَاحِ أَسْمَائِكَ. We have two things. One is riyah. Rih means wind. Riyah is plural. Yeah, winds. What does wind do? Wind is very important, and in Qur'an, Allah many times refers to the winds, the role that they have for bringing rain, for fertilization, for air circulation. Yeah. Bushran bayna yaday rahmati. When winds come, they can be bashara that there will be rain. So, winds are very important. Sometimes, for example, in cities that are surrounded by mountains, when winds don't come, air becomes very polluted. For circulation is very. Similar to wind in this world, when we have winds and we have breeze, we have something in the spiritual world. Wind, for example, brings fresh air, brings rain, brings seeds of the plants. We have a special breeze or wind in the spiritual world, which brings opportunities and tawfiq and attractions. And that is called rawh. Rawh. This is rih, that is rawh. We have this famous hadith, Ala inna li rabbikum fi ayyam dahrikum nafahatun. For your Lord, during your life, there are nafahat. That nafahat refers to that rawh, that breeze in the spiritual world. When they come, you must expose yourself to them. Ala fata'arradu lah. Yeah? When refreshing air comes, don't sit at home. Go outside. Breathe that fresh air. Yeah? Especially, for example, we have this that for beginning of a spring, it's very good to go outside and breathe fresh air, because this is giving life. The beginning of spring. So, rawh is very important. And whenever you see there is something happening that is maybe a sign of Allah showing some new openings, some opening new horizons for you, some tawfiq for ibadah, for amal salih, for charity work, community work. Grab that opportunity. If you grab it, then they can take you with them. If you don't grab it, you will lose them. Other people will grab it. So, I ask Allah here to give me also ability to have my himma, my ambitions and my concerns for rawh najah asma'ik, for getting to that winds or breezes of mercy and opportunities which make you better appreciate names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa mahall qudsik, and they take you closer to the sanctity and holiness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilahi bika alayk illa alhaqtani bimahall ahli ta'atik wal mathwa salih min mardatik. I ask you because of yourself. Yeah? I don't have anyone more valuable than you. So, because of yourself, I ask you to give me. Bika alayk. So, the best one to ask is Allah. So, we say, because of you, I ask you to enable me join the position of people of obedience. People of obedience have their own rank. I want to be able to join them. فَإِنِّي لَا أَقْدِرُ لِنَفْسِي دَفْعًا وَلَا أَمْلِكُ لَهَا نَفْعًا. I am not able to bring benefits to myself or keep away harms from myself. Neither I can do jalbul manafi or daf'ul madar. I cannot keep harms away from me. I cannot bring manafi or benefits to myself. I need your help. Ilahi ana abduka al-dha'if al-mudhnib wa mamlukuka al-munib. I am your weak, sinful servant. I am your slave, your servant who is returning to you, who is doing anaba. Anaba means return. So I am admitting my shortcomings. I am admitting that I am not someone who has a great record of services and righteous deeds. Who am I? When Amir al-Mu'mineen writes on the grave of Salman, وَفَدْتُ عَلَى الْكَرِيمِ بِغَيْرِ زَادٍ مِنَ الْحَسَنَاتِ وَقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Salman, with that high position that is considered as Minna Ahlul Bayt, Imam wrote on his behalf that I am entering to the Kareem without any righteous deeds and without having pure heart. Amir al-Mu'mineen, whose one strike is أفضل من عبادة الثقلين, ضربة علي يوم الخندق أفضل من عبادة الثقلين. Yeah? He says, من قلة الزاد. He says, I don't have provision. If we think we have much provision, it's because we don't know what is the journey. Yeah? For example, we want to travel for 6 months to go to, another, country, another continent, go climb Mount, Himalaya, and someone says, have you got your provision? He says, yes, I have, a carry bag of, food. For 6 months climbing a mountain, just carry it. You don't know what is this journey. Those who know what is this journey, they say, min qillat az-zar. They say our hands are empty. Those who don't know the journey, they think, oh mashallah, I have done a lot. So, ana abduka al-dha'if wal-mudhnib. I am your weak servant who is sinful. فَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي مِمَّنْ صَرَفْتَ عَنْهُ وَجْهَكَ. Please don't make me one of those people that you turn your face away from them. When you don't want someone, even if they come in front of you, you turn away your face. We don't want this to happen to us. Or when we go to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we say, in dunya, all my pride was that I am a Muslim. I was saying I follow you, and then Rasulullah turns away his face from us. What remains for us? وَحَجَبَهُ سَهْوُهُ عَنْ عَفِّكَ. Don't be one of those people that their negligence, their heedlessness deprive them from your pardon. Your pardon is there, but when it was given, they were not present. Who is to be blamed? When Allah is giving His pardon, if we don't go and ask for it. Allah has told us, you can come and ask for my pardon. Especially, there are certain times, certain places that af is very easily given. Inshallah, tonight is one of the nights, night of Eid, which Allah's forgiveness is very, very generous. Equal to the number of people who were forgiven and released from fire every night in the month of Ramadan, equal to all of them tonight. In the night of Eid, will be released by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilahi, habli kamal al-inqita'i ilayk. This sentence up to bi'izz qudsik is something that Imam Khomeini used to quote a lot and end his lectures many times with this, even his dars. Ilahi habli kamal al-inqita'i ilayk. Oh Allah, please grant me complete detachment from anything other than you. Al-inqita' ilayk means al-inqita' amma siwak ilayk. To be detached from anything else and then be attached to you only. Tabattal ilayhi tabtila, it means the same as inqita'. وأنر أبصار قلوبنا بضياء نظرها إليك. Please enlighten, illuminate the eyes of our hearts by looking at you. If you turn the eyes of your heart towards Allah, they will receive light. And then with that light you can understand other things also better. There are things that when you turn to them, they make you blind. You cannot understand anything. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you turn towards Him, you understand Him and understand other things also properly. But I don't want just to know ordinary things. I want to go and see what is behind the veil. So we say, حَتَّى تَخْرِقَ أَبْصَارُ الْقُلُوبِ حُجُبَ النُّورِ. So illuminate eyes of my heart with looking at you, so that the eyes can penetrate the veils of light. These veils, don't let me see what is behind. And from Qur'an we can understand these veils are from us. Because Qur'an says, لَقَدْ كَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ قِطَاعَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. We have removed your veil, your curtain, your cover, and now your eye is sharp. So when we go to the other world, the veil which is in front of eyes of our heart will be removed. So it's not like you go to a museum and you see that some objects might be very valuable. They put something, a piece of dress, clothes, something on them, and only some people can be given access or seeing it. So say, okay, you are a person that we can show you this item. So we remove this curtain and you can see. This curtain was not yours. This was on the object. Yeah? But our case is different. The objects don't have any curtain. We are people who are blind, and when we want to see, they say, okay, I see there is something on your eye. I have to remove it so that you can see. There is nothing on the object. There is a problem on the eyes of the heart. So this has to be removed. Therefore, Quran says, qita'aka. This is your qita'. And my qita' is different from your qita'. Yeah? Some people have thicker, some people have thinner. So there are different types of qita' that each person has produced for himself. So we ask Allah that we want, through detachment from everything other than you, and with the light of looking at you, be able to penetrate these veils. This light is like laser, that you can penetrate. How much we can go deep? فَتَصِلَ إِلَى مَعْدِنِ الْعَظَمَةِ. I want to penetrate till I reach the source of grandeur. I want to go to the very central point in the world. Where is the essence of Allah? I want to get as close as possible. I cannot reach His essence, but I can try to get as close as possible to the source. وَتَصِيرَ أَرْوَاحُنَا مُعَلَّقَةً بِعِزِّ قُدْسِكَ. And then our spirits will be tied to the dignity of your holiness. If you manage to reach there, you will never come out. Your spirit remains there. Someone is possible for a few years, few decades, maybe moment, and loses Iman. It's possible. Someone has been praying, fasting, loses Iman. It's possible. But if you manage to reach this point, you cannot leave it. Your spirit remains tied to that. تصير أرواحنا معلقة بعز قدسك. Because our spirit is from there. نفخت فيه من روحي. After years of separation, when I reach where I have come from, who can separate me again? It's impossible. If in dunya I am not seeking Allah because I am confused, I know nothing is satisfying me, but I am confused. I try this, I try that, I try everything. But I see nothing is giving me satisfaction. Imam Zain al-Abidin says, nothing is quenching my thirst except meeting you. So in dunya I am confused because I know I am missing something and I am desperately looking for it everywhere. I work hard to find it in money. I cannot feel satisfaction. I try to find it in power. I don't feel satisfied. I try to have a big family. I don't find it. So I know I'm missing something that can give me deep satisfaction, but I don't find it everywhere. But I know that there was something that was giving me that. Now, if I find it again, after trying all these attachments, now I find it again, I'm not going to lose it. If in dunya I was going to different things because I was confused, now that I am able to see it and experience it, I'm not going anywhere else. إلهي واجعلني ممن ناديته فأجابك. Please make me one of those people that you called them and they replied. No one should think that I looked for God. I tried to find Him. No. He invited me. Then you try to find who called me. It's not that you were able to discover something new. He called you, invited you, and now you are trying to say who called me. So make me one of those people that you called them and they responded. ناديته فأجابك ولاحظته فصعق لجلالك. This is very beautiful. لاحظته means you had your look at them, especially when you look at someone with the side of your eyes. So sometimes you don't want to have eye to eye, but with the side you look at someone. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although He doesn't bring Himself right to your face so that you say, I found you. But He is also on the side looking at you, hoping that you would catch Him. And those that they find Allah is looking at them, فَصَعِقَ لِجَلَالِكَ, then they will scream. Sa'iqa, if you want to understand sa'iqa, we have a case in the Qur'an, you all know. When Musa alayhi salam wanted to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, of course, he knew that it's not possible to see with physical eyes, but he had to convey requests of Bani Israel because, they said, لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ حَتَّى نَرَى اللَّهَ جَهْرًا. We don't believe unless we see God. So he said, رَبِّ أَرْنِي أَنْظُرْ إِلَيْكَ. Please show me yourself so I can look at you. Allah said, إِنَّكَ لَمْ تَرَانِي يَا مُوسَى. You cannot see me. ولكن انظر إلى الجبل. Look at this mount. Tons of or thousands of tons of soil and rocks. Look at this mount. فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني. If this mount remains intact, you can hope to see. فلما تجلى ربه للجبل. When Allah made a manifestation to that mount, جعله دكا. The mount was exploded. Just tajalli. That's manifestation. وَخَرَّ مُوسَى صَعِقًا. Musa was not on that mount. Musa was watching from distance, but fell down and screamed, cried out loud. Sa'iqa. So here we say, لاحظته فصعق لجلالك. When you experience that close encounter with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's so overwhelming that you want to scream out of joy. You want to cry, you want to scream, and it's very difficult for you to keep this news to yourself. So powerful. فَنَاجَيْتَهُ سِرًّا وَعَمِلَ لَكَ جَهْرًا. You whispered to him in privacy, secretly, but he acts for you publicly. Therefore, other people also will benefit from his act. إلهي لم أسلط على حسن ظني قنوط الأياس ولن قطع رجائي من جميل كرمك. One of the things that we have to be very careful, especially before reaching that point, is not to lose our hope. Because despair just makes us stuck and maybe even go backward. One of the traps of shaitan is despair. My Lord, I have not let despair take away my good opinion about you. Husnul dhan. One of the things that we should have is always to have good opinion about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and about our life. Opposite to tatayyur. Tatayyur means you are pessimistic. You take everything as a sign of something bad is going to happen. I am not going to succeed. I am not going, to have good children. I am not going to, go to heaven. This is not good. You should have husnul dhann billah. There is a hadith from Imam Rida alayhi salam. That he mentions this hadith Qudsi, that أنا عند ظن عبدي المؤمن. I am close to what my believing servant thinks about me. إن خيرا فخير وإن شرا فشر. If you think that Allah is going to help you and be forgiving you and supporting you, this is going to happen. If you think that Allah is going to leave you alone and not help you, bring miseries to you, that's going to happen. this very important thing, that in addition to whatever we do, having good opinion about Allah is also very influential. We should have always great hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you reflect on, for example, Dua Abu Hamza Thomali, you see how much Imam Zainul Abidin emphasizes on hope, raja. Without, of course, losing your carefulness, without, taking things easy, but always be hopeful, always, and always think that Allah will bring for you the best. I like to share one point before we continue. I was reflecting how this works, how this is the way that Allah plans for us. For example, what difference it's going to make if I have certain a'mal, but I say Allah is going to forgive me, Allah is going to take me to heaven, and I have the same a'mal, but I say Allah is not going to forgive me. What difference it's going to make? The main thing is my a'mal, and He is going to objectively look at your a'mal, and either it says this is enough to go to heaven or not. Why? If I say He is going to forgive me, I have great hope, and if I say no, He's not going to forgive me, what difference is going to make? It's a question. My reflection led me to this. Who is saying Allah is not going to forgive me? Someone who has not been forgiving people. If in your life you have been forgiving people who have wronged you, who have harmed you, and if you know Allah, then how can you say He's not going to forgive me? Yes, I am not going to dismiss the chance of azab, but I say if it's going to happen, it's because I have done so much bad that even my most forgiving Lord didn't find a way. But I have great hope in Him. I know I am dealing with someone who is the most easygoing person. Because when in dunya we see people who are kareem, people who are honorable, who are kind, we see it's easy to deal with them. They easily accept your excuses, they easily get pleased. So, it's not by chance or accident that you have husnul dhan or su'u dhan billah. It's a matter of how much you know Him and how much you resemble Him. If you know Him well and resemble Him in His good characteristics, you would only have good opinion about Him. If you don't know Him or don't resemble Him, you would have bad opinion. So it's very important point. It's not just, it's a feeling. No, it's actually a summary of your character. When you have good opinion about Allah, sometimes people who are themselves very bad, they can never trust anyone. Yeah? Because they themselves are so dishonest, they cannot trust anyone. Even they cannot trust good people. Okay, you can say there are bad people, I have to be careful. But why don't trust good people? And now, how can you not trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So, Our great hope is that Allah is going to help us. There is a hadith that it's very interesting, and ulama have discussed this hadith. On the day of judgment, one person, of course this one can be a group, but a person will be judged and sentenced to go to hell. When the angels are taking him towards hell, they want to take him, he says something like this. I maybe say words a little bit different because I'm using my memory. Something like this. He says, "Oh Allah, this was not my thinking, my opinion about you." As we say in Dua Kumail, "Ma hakadha dhannu bik." Yeah? Now you understand this in Dua Kumail better. "Ma hakadha dhannu bik." Then Allah says to the angels, "Bring him back." Angels say, because he says, "In dunya I didn't have such opinion about you. I had this, didn't have this." Allah said, "Bring him back." Angels say he is not honest. He is just saying this now. Then Allah says, if he was honest, I would not have threatened him in the first place to be taken. Then ulama have here discussion. What does it mean? If someone is dishonest and is lying, can it help? It cannot help. And also, people would not be able to tell lies. What does it mean he was not honest? It means that, at least this is a good scholarly interpretation, it means that on the surface in dunya, he was saying, I have hope. Deep in his heart, this was not established. But on the surface in dunya, he was, reading Dua Kumail, "Ma hakadha dhannu bik." This is enough. At least he was putting himself in that position. If we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if we have not yet the point of maturity that we really mean what we say, still it works. Otherwise, you are all and me, inshallah not all of you, but maybe most of you, at least I know about myself, every day in salat we are telling lies. Iyyaka na'bud wa iyyaka nasta'in. It's a lie we are saying every day. How many people can honestly say, Iyyaka na'bud wa iyyaka nasta'in? But even this lie works. This is a lie that is giving us direction, that try to live by this and one day achieve it. So when we read Dua Kumail, most of it is a lie for us. If you put me in hell still, I would say I love you. Or how I can be patient with your azab, but فَكَيْفَ أَصْبِرُ عَنِ النَّظَرِ إِلَى كَرَامَتِكَ. For me is a lie. But this is a lie which is not for deceiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or deceiving my. This is a lie means that this is my hope that inshallah one day I can become like this. This is the way my Mawla was talking to you and I want to follow him. So when Allah says that this person who said, I didn't have this opinion about you should not be punished, and angels say, but he was not honest, it can mean that in dunya he was saying this, but was not very deep. But this works. Allah accepts this. This is a way to progress. You know, with people, we should not say something that we don't believe, because it becomes like flattering. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no problem to say things which may look flattering. Why? Because you think you are flattering, but indeed you are saying things which are true. For example, you have problems in life. You say, oh Allah, you have always wanted good for me. You have always brought the best for me. This is not your understanding. You think, I am maybe flattering, I am saying too much. But no, actually, this is not too much. Say this till your understanding will be tuned to this way of level of knowledge. Because whatever you say about Allah, the best way you can praise Him and thank Him still falls short. You can never exaggerate in praising Him. Can anyone exaggerate in praising Allah or exaggerate in thanking Him? But at least we can in this way make progress. So, I have not let despair become dominant over my husnul dhan, my good opinion about you. وَلَنْ قَطَعَ رَجَائِي مِنْ جَمِيلِ كَرْمِكَ. And my hope with respect to beautiful generosity has not stopped. إلهي إن كانت الخطايا قد أسقطتني لديك. My Lord, if my mistakes, my sins have dropped me in your sight, I have lost my position. قد أسقطتني لديك. What does it mean? It shows that Allah has very high position for every person, even for a child, for a teenager. We don't need to go from zero upwards. You are already put in a high position to go higher. Yeah? You have lights. You have some high position. Just be careful. Don't go down. Just go higher. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ. So we don't start from bottom. We start from a high position. It's very good. This is great hope that every human being, every child of Adam starts with a high position. So we say to Allah, if my mistakes and sins have brought me down, have dropped me, asqatatni, from suqut. Suqut means to drop. Fasfah anni bihusn tawakkuli alayk. Please forgive me. For what? Because I have good trust in you. It's amazing. Just trusting in Him works. If you trust any person, even if he's good, before he does something and starts something, your problems are not solved. I have a problem, I don't know, with my business, with my marriage, with anything. I have a problem. So I want to look for someone who is experienced, who is kind to help me. Give me some mashwara, something. But just trusting him is not going to help me. He has to do something. But Allah is different. As soon as you sign this contract with him, you say, I am mutawakkil alayk. Problems start solving. And if you are intelligent, you will realize that actually just to be able to make this contract with him is more important than your problem. To be mutawakkil alayh is more important about what you have trusted him about. Unless it is for spiritual things. We have many issues in life. We trust him, we do tawakkul on him. This by itself is more important than all other things. Yeah? Imagine, and Allah's example is endless times better. Imagine if my business or family issue, there is a way for me to go to Imam Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala. And I said to Imam Zaman, please you be my wakil. You tell me what to do. And he says, okay. Then your problem will be solved. But if you are careful, just the fact that you are able to see Imam Zaman and ask him to be your wakil is much more important than this. If you manage to persuade him to give you a time to raising your issues, then just use it as an excuse. Try to look at him, try to listen to him, try to enjoy his presence. These problems are excuses that we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if we don't have problems, unfortunately, we don't go to him. So these problems push us to go towards him. We do trust on him, but the main thing is that you are with him. He helps you with your problems, but this is the main problem, lacking Allah, missing him, and this is solving that main problem. So, because of my good tawakkul on you, please forgive me. So even husnul tawakkul works. I think our time is finished here. Okay, so we stop here. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us what Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have mentioned in these du'as and these munajats and in their personal moments with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to give us those things so that on the day of judgment we can be with them and not far from them. We ask Allah for shifa for all people who are ill. We must tonight get, inshallah, shifa for all people who are ill, who have difficulties. Oh Allah, please give shifa to all people who are ill. Please send your rahman maghfirah to all mu'mineen and mu'minat who have passed away. Especially those who have rights upon us. Please grant hajat of mu'mineen and mu'minat in this night, Ya Allah. Please grant hajat of Imam Zaman, Ya Allah. Please include us among the people that bring only joy to the heart of Imam Zaman. Please enable us to work and prepare for his coming. Please bless our parents who are alive with health and joy and dignity. And those who have passed away, please be very kind and generous with them. Please enable us to taste the sweetness of love for you. The sweetness of salat, the sweetness of reciting Qur'an, the sweetness of salatul layl, the sweetness of charity work, the sweetness of community work. Please give us among the gifts that you give to your chosen servants, please also because of your favor, your fadl, please give us the gift of husnul aqibah, Please do not let us deviate from right path even for 1 inch. Please make the last moment of our life the best moment of our life. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.